Okay, so we're going to multiply polynomials. So I'm going to remind you of some stuff that you need to remember. We add exponents when multiplying. Remember, bases have to be the same. So we're going to add the exponents when multiplying bases that are the same. The other thing I want you to remember is if you have a variable by itself, remember that if you see a, like a variable, that means a to the first power. If you see x, that means x to the first power. So if you have a times a, that would equal a squared. X times x would equal x squared. Those are just some reminders because I noticed yesterday when we were doing that one page and we were doing the distributive property, some of the things I noticed where you kind of forgot that if you have an a times an a, that means a squared because it's a 1 on both of them. And that when the bases are the same, you add the exponents. So what I want to do is I want to just take you through a couple of different examples, just work our way up. Okay, so we're going to start with kind of what we did yesterday. It's like a distributive property. We're going to start with 5e times e plus 2. Okay, so when we do this, we're going to do 5e times e and then 5e times 2. Remember, this is what I just said. I see an e, so that means if I see a regular e, it means e to the first. So I've got e times e, so what does that equal? 5e squared, because 1 plus 1 is 2. And then I do 5e times 2. Well, 5 times 2 is 10, and then I put the e on there. What questions do you have?
Wait.
Go ahead.
How did you get that 10 in?
5 times 2 was 10, and then because the e is attached to the 5, you just put it at the end.
Okay.
So if you have a variable that's attached to a number, you carry it through. You can multiply the big numbers, but you would just add the letter. Okay, you ready? What's negative 8 times 2? So we're going to do this times this. So what's negative 8 times 2? So we're going to write negative 16. So I start off by multiplying the numbers. Now I have r times r squared. So I know I'm going to put an r, but what's my exponent going to be? 3. Because 1 plus 2 is 3. Now see how that t to the third, it doesn't have anything, but it's attached? So I'm just going to write it last.
Wait, where you got that t from?
See right here on the outside, see how it has t to the third? I have to bring it over. It can't just disappear.
What about the t over in 11?
Well, we're gonna deal with that. Okay? Right now I'm just dealing with negative 8r t to the third times 2r squared. That's all I'm gonna do right now.
Why does it get a 3 though?
Because it had a 3 on it. The t already had a 3. The r gets a 3 because it's a 1 plus 2 is 3. Now we're going to do this one. You're going to multiply the numbers. So what's negative 8 times negative 11?
Negative 88.
Well, what's a negative times a negative?
88.
So it's positive 88. Now, variables always go in alphabetical order. So is there an r that I need? So I'm going to put my r there because you just carry the letter over. And your variables, your letters always go in alphabetical order. And now it's t to the third times t. What is t to the third times t?
4t.
Yep. And that's my final answer.
Wait, so I,
Go ahead.
what about r? Like, that is,
Because there was an r in the 8, I still have to carry it over. You can't just leave it out. If it's there, you have to carry it over. Okay.
Remember, all we just study in classroom, not go with English. That's what I prefer. Actually, I think I might stay in the classroom. I'm writing this stuff you're writing down.
Yay.
what is it over?
In about 2 minutes. No,
3 minutes.
in about 3 minutes. We have enough time to do this. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm writing them down.
So, anytime you're multiplying by a fraction, just divide. See how it's 1? So it's 1 times 8. What is 1 times 8? Okay, what is 8 divided by 4? So I'm going to put a 2. So basically just if the numerator is 1, all you have to do is take this number and divide it by the denominator. Now I have an n. What is the exponent on this n? So what's 1 plus 2?
3.
Okay. Now I'm going to do 1/4 times 1 times 12. So my numerator is 1, so what's 12 divided by 4? I have a 1 here, I have a 1 here, so how many n's do I have?
2.
Then I'm going to put minus. And then what's 16 divided by 4? And then see how the n is attached to the 1/4? It has to come over, and that's your final answer.
Writing it.
We're going to do
I'm
one
on
more.
that one, though. I'm on 2.
We're going to do one more example.
909.
We get out at 9:12. Okay, this is our last example today. We're going to do x times x. So what is x times x? X squared, yep, because 1 plus 1. Now we're going to do x times 3. What is x times 3? 3x. Now I'm going to do 2 times x. Good. And then I'm going to do 2 times 3.
6.
Now, see these two middle terms? Are those like terms?
Yep.
What is 3x plus 2x?
3. 5.
And that's your answer. Goodbye.